8 minutes.
Minister, and your colleagues in Fine Gael who are bringing this issue before the Seanad this evening. I just wanted to share, I suppose, your experiences, especially in the very sad times, clinics out the door, with people who've been made unemployed, but being able to do something and helping them, but the ones that were self-employed absolutely feeling inadequate. I couldn't do anything, and to watch them spiral hit after hit, and to losing their families, their homes, their businesses, and often a lot more tragically than that. So I think it is important that something has been done. I'd like to outline our support for the measures proposed and consider it not before time that such measures are brought forward, which will go to some way to providing security and a safety net for the self-employed workers across this country. Similarly, I would like to make it known our support for the self-employed sector. Almost just under 20% of employment in our economy is taken up by self-employment. They further drive employment and sustain local economies in every city, town and village. Entrepreneurs are risk takers, as was said. They put their head on the line to try and drive the country forward. Whilst we recognise the importance of transnational companies and foreign direct investment in creating jobs in Ireland, it is the small and medium indigenous Irish firms that are the real drivers of our local economies and the ones that should be supported, and they must be protected. It's these individuals that provide the potential growth of our own transnational companies into the future. There is, of course, a long-term issue concerning the provision of long-term benefits in case of sickness or injuries, that this private member's business will seek, hopefully, to resolve this. We have too, of course, a wider discussion in terms of what improvements we make to assist self-employed and what way we fund the proposed extended benefits. The Mangan report, which this motion seeks to introduce the recommendations of, has suggested PRSI rates for the self-employed be increased to fund benefits which would be provided. We would like a little bit of clarity on this, given that Fine Gael are opposed to increasing PRSI rates for the self-employed and have consistently said that employers need cash to pay wages and create jobs. I know you probably reference here the USC, but I would be against taking down the USC. I think it's a wrong move. We need to invest money. I also refer to the Fine Gael manifesto, which makes no mention whatsoever in the self-employed PRSI rates, but just to increasing tax credit available. Fine Gael seek to decrease the PRSI that employers pay for their employees to help them fund proposed increase in the minimum wage. I just want to note as well the Low Pay Commission report of the insulting 10% that they think they're going to increase the minimum wage by. I also want to note Fianna Fáil's position is not surprisingly all that different. Fianna Fáil refers to protecting self-employed in order to achieve a measure of social equality. Somewhat different is their suggestion of an opt-in clause for self-employed person in PRSI Class A. This would require an additional 4% PRSI contribution. How many self-employed people out there want to pay this extra amount? This is what we need to clarify. Sinn Féin have long called for changes to be made for the self-employed to allow them access to more sustained benefits. That said, a serious conversation needs to occur on how this is paid for. PAY workers at present pay 4% and their employers importantly pay a further 10.75% on their behalf. What we might have is a situation where PAY workers are paying significantly more for the same benefits. Sinn Féin are more than happy to extend these benefits and in fact encourage them, but the self-employed will have to make a contribution towards accepting these benefits. Perhaps there is no better time to seek to introduce this now than when the rates, I suppose, in self-employed are increasing much more than in the public and the private sector. I want to stress, however, Cathaoirleach, that no one should be forced into joining this at this time. It should be accessed on an opt-in or voluntary basis. I am fully cognizant of the fact that numerous self-employed persons may have their own private income protection schemes and find these to be adequate for their needs. So where do we go from here? It's a bit rich that Fine Gael are introducing this motion today. The party in government has been in government now for over 5 years and has recognised the failings of the current system and yet has done nothing to solve it thus far. So I recommend belatedly, I suppose, Senator Butler's contribution and moving this hopefully to a final stage. The Minister said he's going to plan to close this gap. I think the time for planning is well over. These people need action. The two parties, I suppose, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, they are in government today together. They have the numbers to enact legislation without delay. You have it there. It's not a rocket science. The recommendations for the Mangan report, which again are referenced in this motion, can be enacted. Why just don't do it, I suppose? The cosy agreement in the confidence and supply arrangements committed to introducing a PRSI scheme for self-employed and provide a supportive tax regime for entrepreneurs and their self-employed. So it begs the question, what's the point of using private members' business to discuss it? Bring forward legislation, talk to the Fianna Fáil government parties, and we will certainly support progressive measures to help this sector. The motion this evening could be just a toothless PR exercise for Fine Gael senators to look good in the eyes of the business community, but nothing definite coming from it.
Thank you, Senator Devine. Can I now call on Senator